From the High Definition Production Center of Troy University's Broadcast and Digital Network and Troy campuses around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Weekly.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Weekly. We're glad you joined us for this look at what's happening in and around Troy University. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Historically, the city of Troy has been able to sell alcohol on Sundays, but following a referendum, the door was open to the possibility of Sunday sales. Well, on Tuesday night, the vote passed unanimously by the City Council. Madison Neal has the details.
On Tuesday, the Troy City Council had the second reading of the ordinance governing the sale of alcohol on Sundays, which passed unanimously. And according to Troy City Council President Marcus Paramore, it was a huge leap for the city's economic development.
Passing this ordinance really was a reflection of what the people voted on October the 10th, which this passed in a citywide referendum by a 3-to-1 margin. It's an opportunity for the city of Troy to recruit different types of restaurants and retail to our area and just letting our city grow.
Paramore also adds that this should positively affect Troy University.
This gives students another reason to stay in Troy on the weekends. It gives students another reason to spend their money here in Troy and not go out of town to do it, especially on this one particular day. This is purely economic development and growth for both the city and the university, and as one grows, the other grows.
And residents of the city of Troy will not have to wait very long to take advantage of Sunday sales.
Barring any technical difficulties, it will be advertised in the paper this week in the legal ads, and then Sunday, December the 3rd at 12 o'clock, businesses will be allowed to sell alcoholic beverages.
As of right now, Troy will be the only city in Pike County to sell alcohol on Sundays. Madison Neal, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Troy's International Student Cultural Organization held its annual Isco Festival. The night featured food, fun, and performances from international and American students. Faith Rosenwald has the story.
Food, music, dancing, and friends. What better way to celebrate the International Student Cultural Organization at Troy University? The 35th Annual Isco Festival took place Thursday night to celebrate culture, promote diversity, and create friendships.
We're here to really cultivate compassion and understanding between international and American students. Recently in the world, it's been through a little turmoil. Tonight is just a chance for world peace and to be that solution to world peace.
The festival featured a variety of talents including singing, dancing, guitar, piano, spoken word, and Chinese calligraphy. Traditional cultural dishes were also served to guests.
Often referred to as Alabama's International University, there are more than 800 students from different countries at Troy. But you don't have to be an international student to become a part of ISCO.
I just think it's really important for the American students to make the international students feel like they're welcome here, to make it feel like they're home. But I think it's really cool that we get to be inclusive and the American students get to see more of the culture of their culture versus them always saying our culture.
And if you aren't friends with an international student, Caroline Hughes, president of ISCO, says you are missing out.
Well, it expands people's horizons because there's a lot of American students that come here to Troy and they've never been to another country, they've never even been outside of Alabama, and so international students and American students get to learn from each other from that.
Don't miss the opportunity to explore other cultures by joining ISCO today. Faith Rosenwald, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Troy students had the opportunity to learn about the life cycle of stars on Wednesday. No, not J-Law or Kim K, the celestial kind. Anna Kate Patterson has the details on a NASA visit to Troy.
Some Troy University students know a little more about stars and their life cycles after the lecture held in Math and Science Room 114 on Wednesday. John Weiss, an education specialist from the Marshall Space Flight Center, spoke to all listening ears about everything from our Earth's sun to black holes.
Stellar evolution, the life cycle of stars, how they form, what happens to them as they progress through their cycle, and how they end depending on what mass they are.
Weiss says the pictures he uses in his presentation are always a showstopper, but he has a very specific hope of what his audience will take away from the lecture.
An understanding at least of the basics, because a society that has a better understanding of science has a better chance of making good decisions based on that science.
Students attended the lecture for reasons ranging from just for fun to receiving class credit. But Chandler Burleson says that Although he will receive 10 bonus points for attending, he grew up with a genuine interest in astronomy.
Growing up, my dad, had us out looking at the night sky and a telescope and stuff like that. So generally, I just have some type of interest, and that's why I decided to come.
But Burleson says the lecture didn't really hit home for him until Weiss began speaking on black holes.
So when he brought up black holes and kind of talking about how when you reach the event horizon, if you could, not turn into energy, that you would actually see time speed up and you would see the end of the universe, which I thought was, really cool.
Weiss says the most common question he receives typically has nothing to do with his lecture.
And it's how do astronauts go to the bathroom in space?
But the most common question relating to the lecture he receives is, when is our sun going to do something different? Anna Kate Patterson, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
The new Trojan Center parking lot is nearing completion. However, as one parking lot opens, another will close to make room for Troy's new Student Recreation Center. Of course, the new construction will call for the demolition of another well-known building on campus. Amy Russo has the details.
Sartain Parking Lot has been a Troy University staple for many years. It has provided countless students with spots to park their cars. However, this parking lot may be set aside for something even bigger to be built on it.
Well, the demolition of the Sartain parking lot will begin upon the construction of the new rec center, student rec center. And kind of the timeline that we have on that is once this new parking lot across from the Trojan Center is completed and the bids are opened on the new student rec center, if everything is in line financially for the new student rec center, then we'll begin we'll award that to a contractor and we'll get a start date.
With the creation of the new rec center, Troy University wanted to make sure students were provided with more parking. There will be another parking lot made across from the Trojan Center to make up for lost parking.
We wanted to make sure that we didn't completely destroy the Sartain parking lot before we finished the new parking lot. So when the new parking lot is completely finished and students are allowed to park there, the Sartain parking lot will begin to be demolished.
Exact dates on when the parking lot will be demolished have not been confirmed due to unforeseen circumstances having to do with weather. The university also didn't want to knock down Sartain Hall before the new rec center is finished. Behind me is the Troy University Sartain parking lot, which will soon be transformed into the recreational center, which students and faculty say they are very excited for.
I think everybody's excited for it. It's been a long time coming.
I feel it'd be like a progressive state for Troy with the additions of the parking lot behind DC. There would be no lost parking, but it'd give Troy a better look.
The new rec center is set to have basketball courts, tennis courts, an indoor track, and even more. Amy Russo, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
We'll take a short break, but when we return, Troy University students produced a pop song honoring Trojan football. We'll get to see how they debuted the new song right after the break, so stay tuned.
Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking, now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Now back to Troy Trojan Vision News Weekly.
Rebuild the wall is the motto that's been used by the Trojan football team during its recent resurgence. And in honor of that success, Troy's student music group Populous wrote a song inspired by the motto. Seth Hawk was at Janice Hawkins Cultural Arts Park to witness the debut of the new single.
Troy's popular music group Populous debuted their new single titled Rebuild the Wall Wednesday night at Janice Hawkins Cultural Arts Park in front of Trojans one and all. And according to one Troy student, the song was a hit with him.
I thought it was really, really good. It had a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of school spirit, and I loved it a lot. It went along with the alma mater, and I thought it was really good. I really loved it.
The Trojan Nation in attendance were rocking and rolling to the new single, and according to the coordinator of Troy's music industry program, Robert W. Smith, seeing those in attendance enjoying the song and singing along was his enjoyment for the evening.
We've got a brand new song that we think is going to be a hit within our Trojan community, and to watch the crowd react to that multiple times. We did the premiere, then we brought it back as the encore, and they even stayed to hear the recording when it was done. We were thrilled with that. To watch people sing, to watch people cheer, that's really what music is about, bringing people together.
Smith also says he sent a recording of the new single to Troy's head football coach Neil Brown, with an invitation attached to attend the debut. And according to Coach Brown, it was a pleasure to be in attendance.
When I heard about it earlier in the week and brought my oldest daughter Adeline in here and to listen to it in Populous, and man, it was really an awesome song, and I appreciate them inviting me, and I appreciate the shout out in the song too.
Populous wrote the single due to the success of the Trojan football team, and according to head football coach Neil Brown, we could have a new Trojan anthem on our hands.
If you hear the recording too, they bring the band in and the choral, so they brought in really all the everybody that's in the Long School of Music had a piece of this, and I think it has an opportunity to be kind of a Trojan anthem song for us.
Rebuild the Wall will be a featured track on Populous's 6th album titled Superhuman. Seth Hawk, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
Students on Troy University's Troy campus may have come across the Confucius Institute located in Bibb Graves Hall. But the Confucius Institute located in Troy isn't the only one. Sarah Singletary pays a visit to the one in the capital city in a report from our Montgomery News Bureau.
On the 3rd floor of the Rosa Parks Museum overlooking Troy University's Montgomery campus, you'll find a local hub for Chinese culture. The Confucius Institute opened its doors on the Montgomery campus in 2012. Since then, its coordinators have been interacting with residents and building relationships, all in an effort to share Chinese culture with those in the capital city.
The three main tasks that we are doing now. First is a Chinese language program. Another one is culture activities and events. Another one is cooperation with the local communities.
One way the Institute completes those tasks is through the Institute's Adult Learner Program.
We have a weekday, and they come here to enjoy the learning Chinese program, just for fun. Try to get to know something about China, get close to the Chinese people, get close to the Chinese culture.
Getting closer to Chinese culture and Chinese people without going to China. Yu says the local institute has a lot to offer.
We love to offer our help to develop our ability to help local people to get to know about another country, another culture.
That includes over 2,000 grade school students. Yu and her colleagues sit down with students in the Montgomery area each week and use mats like this one to help teach the Chinese language, a practice she says is essential to the Institute's mission.
We let the children involved in the new culture, it's a different culture or different things, because children is it's the good age for them to accept new things.
Last week, many families gathered for a Thanksgiving meal. However, there are many families in the area who were not lucky enough to have a big feast or even a meal at all. And the same could happen for Christmas. However, a relatively new organization to campus is hoping to remedy that with a canned food drive this week. Seth Hawk has the details.
Troy University's Homeschool Club is currently in the process of gathering food to distribute to families for the holidays.
Right now we're just doing a food drive, partnering with Troy for Troop Center and then BCM, and we're basically just raising food for needy families this holiday and Christmas season. We're going to be giving it to the Troy Civic Engagement Center, and they're going to be dispersing it to the families throughout the Troy area.
Troy's Homeschool Club is a relatively new organization on campus, and according to Crawford, this event to help provide food for the holidays is something they will continue to do.
We actually started last year, just got founded, and this is something we plan to do every year. Definitely get more involved in community service and charity events.
And if you haven't heard of Troy's Homeschool Club, you're not alone.
So we started right at the end of last semester, and now we've started getting the word out, and people are starting to hear about us more. A lot of people actually thought we were joking. If we handed out flyers and we put posters, and people didn't believe us until they actually started joining the club. But once they started joining, it just all came together, and we've done such a great job so far.
The Homeschool Club Holiday Food Drive will continue until November 28th, and representatives from the club will collect food from 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Seth Hawk, Troy, TrojanVision News.
We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll see how the Pioneer Museum of Alabama honored the southern staple of cornbread. That's coming up in just a bit, so don't touch that dial.
So they say it's a man's world? Well, I don't see anybody's name on it. While they were out doing their thing, we slowly changed all that. We changed all that. Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Now back to Troy TrojanVision News Weekly.
As the semester gets closer to its end, many students are looking forward to a holiday break. But before the break, there are a few holiday-related events Troy Student Government Association is getting prepared for. Janae Jordan has that story.
On Tuesday night, SGA held their last meeting for the semester. They mainly discussed the annual Christmas tree lighting ceremony that will be held on December the 7th with Chancellor Hawkins and his wife.
The Christmas tree lighting will be after the Sound of the Seasons concert put on by our music department. So it'll be around 8:15, 8:30 on December the 7th. And basically it's just an event with food, drinks, and the Chancellor and his wife will be there, and they'll be there officially lighting the tree. And we're going to have some lanterns that we're going to send off and some inspirational speakers from around the campus.
Each committee talked about what improvements they made within the university this semester and what improvements they need to work on come next semester.
This semester was just really productive for SGA as a whole. I know our committee really wanted to focus on our main events instead of doing a ton of little events, and so our main focuses were homecoming and rivalry week, and so we got to just be really hands-on during those, and I'm really excited for next semester.
SGA is looking forward to reaching out to even more students next semester with Home Sweet Troy and also the annual Greek Week.
We have Home Sweet Troy, which is our big spring event for campus life, and so we're really trying to put all of our time and energy into that and things like Greek Week, and we're just excited to see those play out.
The SGA has had a very successful semester, and to wrap things up, they will have a Christmas swap party where they will exchange gifts and enjoy each other's company. Reporting from Hawkins Hall, Janae Jordan, Troy, TrojanVision News.
As exams loom, many Troy students can start to feel a bit stressed. This week, Trojan Outreach gave the student body an outlet, giving them the chance to make a fun, de-stressing craft. Lauren Harkson shows us how.
Today in the Trojan Center, students were not only eating to de-stress from school, but making their own stress balls. With finals coming up in the next few weeks, Trojan Outreach has planned a few events to encourage the student body. And this craft didn't only put a smile on the students' faces.
We're out here in TC making stress balls because we have finals week coming up, and we just wanted to have a fun thing for the students to interact with on campus and de-stress for finals coming up.
Throughout the year, Trojan Outreach plans events to help students discuss real-life problems. And with finals approaching, stress is on everyone's mind.
We come up with stuff that isn't talked about in the classroom, problems such as like stress management, and just coming up with ideas. We felt like doing stress balls would be a fun way for people to hang out and have fun.
After making a stress ball, one student says that learning a new craft was the best part.
It was a very interesting craft to do. It kind of helped me out a little bit to de-stress. I just enjoyed figuring out how to make one of these because I've never done that before.
And with finals week approaching, every bit of encouragement can go a long way.
Don't stress, get through these finals, and you're going to be okay.
Tomorrow, Trojan Outreach will be continuing their de-stress week by giving out hot chocolate in the Trojan Center.
Last week was Thanksgiving, and that usually meant some big meals. And if you ate around these parts, it probably included some cornbread. And that side dish and its ties to this area is what inspired the Pioneer Museum of Alabama to start a festival in its honor. Gabe Gordon has more.
On Saturday, November 18th, the Pioneer Museum of Alabama hosted their first Homegrown Cornbread Festival, where everyone was encouraged to come out and try one of the South's most traditional recipes. You guessed it, cornbread.
You know, when you think of cornbread, you think of what you were raised with, what you think of home. You know, what your mom made, what your grandmother made. My favorite is was my grandmother's fried recipe. My granny's fried cornbread was my favorite.
As far as I know, this is probably the first cornbread festival in the state of Alabama. The Pioneer Museum was looking around to see if they might pick up on something that's been overlooked as far as festivals are concerned, and they checked into it, and actually there's no cornbread festival in the state of Alabama.
People from all over Alabama gathered to put their cooking to the test to see who could make the best tasting cornbread. But that wasn't the only thing happening. There was also a pageant, arts and crafts, food, horse hay rides, and fun for the kids. The Pioneer Museum of Alabama says that it hopes to make the Homegrown Cornbread Festival an annual event every year. It advises people from Troy and all across the state to come out and take a step back in time and experience living history at its best.
You know, anything that we do promotes the museum, and I think that this is just going to be a fantastic addition to festivals, not only for the Pioneer Museum, but for the state. I think it's a great addition.
The museum was founded in 1971 with the mission that others might learn from the past. It is also a nonprofit organization that thrives off the generous donations from its members. Gabe Gordon, Troy, TrojanVision News.
And it's time for our last break, but when we return, we'll meet the newly crowned Miss Troy University. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
The warrior spirit. It's in there. Always has been. Now let it out and take the world by fire. Train well and learn what it means to be a Troy Trojan. Walk with confidence, conquer, claim territory, and climb ladders. Know that you have the power to stand alone, but the comfort of knowing that you'll never have to. Discover your inner warrior. Find it at troy.edu/spirit.
Now back to Troy Trojan Vision News Weekly.
Madison Neal was recently crowned Miss Troy University. We get to know the new Miss Troy in this week's Trojan Talk. Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Today we will meet the new Miss Troy University, Madison Neal. Madison, thanks for joining us here today.
Thanks for having me.
And Madison, I've got to first off say congratulations. You are a part of the Trojan Vision family, but now the rest of the university gets to share you as Miss Troy University. And first off, just tell me, how do you feel about wearing the crown?
It's so exciting. I'm trying not to be overwhelmed with all of this. Just to think that I now represent a whole university, faculty, staff, administration, students, and I just try every day to put my best foot forward and to be able to do that.
And of course, and part of this is you've won Miss Troy University, and you will get to represent the university in a variety of ways throughout the next year. Are you ready to take on that challenge of being this face for the university?
Oh, absolutely. I already have a few appearances planned, an upcoming football game, the Christmas parade in Troy, and of course the biggest is Miss Alabama next June. So I am fully up to taking that task on.
And let's talk about going to Miss Alabama. Obviously an opportunity to represent the school at the Miss Alabama pageant, and then maybe hopefully winning that and going on to Miss America. So a lot of excitement and expectation there. How are you feeling about being the person that represents Troy in the Miss Alabama pageant? So
I'm so excited about it. I just am trying to prepare daily and not wait till the last minute to just focus on promoting my platform and focusing on my talent. There's so many things that go into that competition once June arrives, so I'm trying to take it day by day and just be my best self.
And I think that's what a lot of people may not fathom, is there is a lot of preparation that you've got to get into to get ready for June. And it's talk about what all, I guess, you're going to have to do between now and then.
So I'm going to have to be practicing my talent a lot. I sing, and that's something that I recently started, so it's not something that I have always been very comfortable with. So I need to hit the ground running on that. I definitely am going to do everything that I can to bring my platform to the surface of Troy University. My platform is Silencing the Stigma Addiction Awareness, and I really want the Troy community to know what that is at the end of my reign, so I'm going to hit the ground running with that as well. And I think the walking and looking pretty on stage is just going to be the fun part of it all.
And now let's talk about the platform, because another one of those things that a lot of people may not be familiar with in the pageant system here is that the platform is a big part of what you represent. And talk a little about your platform. And first off, why did you pick this particular platform?
So I picked this platform because I've been affected by it firsthand. I've had a family member who has dealt with addiction, and it really does take a toll, not only on the addict, but on your whole family. And one thing that I want to stress to people is that addiction doesn't discriminate. It doesn't matter what socio or economic background you come from. Once it gets a hold on your life, it's so hard to overcome. And people are dying every day from this, so we need to help them erase the stigma through education and awareness to be able to help people get the help that they need. And it's just something that has plagued our nation recently. It's been brought to light, the opioid epidemic, so I feel like this is the perfect time for me to be able to bring that to the attention of the Troy community, that I'm here and I'm ready to help in whatever way that I can.
And what are some things that you maybe have planned or have done already to kind of help facilitate that?
So I've already volunteered through Red Ribbon Week. Y'all were gracious enough to help me with that. And I want to utilize the media as a broadcast journalism major to get the word out that this is a problem. I have raised money through a roadblock in my hometown for the Royal Pines Rehabilitation Center in Hayden. That's part of the Jimmy Hill missions. And that is where my family member went. So it's very close to my heart to help them. I want to raise money for a holiday meal for them. That's something that's my next goal coming up. So just anything and everything.
It's a busy schedule. And let's just talk about the ultimate goal here, because once again, this is a part of the Miss America system. And I know you've been participating in pageants for a while now, but the opportunity to maybe be on the stage at the Miss America pageant, that's got to be something that a level of excitement that's there for you.
It is so exciting, and I don't want to limit myself. The Miss Alabama competition is stiff. There are so many deserving women once you get there, and you just never know how far you'll be able to go. And I'm just going to put my best foot forward and try my best to represent Troy and represent myself in the best way possible when June gets here.
All right. Well, I know some folks here in Troy will be rooting for you, especially the TrojanVision folks here will be rooting for one of our own up there. Good luck in the pageant, and that'll be in June. And when and where? It'll be in Birmingham. It will
be at Stanford University in their theater. I'm unsure of the dates. I should probably know that.
Oh, well, when we get closer, we'll know a little bit more about it. We'll bring you back on, and we'll talk a little about getting you up to the pageant then. So, well, good luck at the pageant.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk. And that's what happened on the third week of November 2017. To find out what's happening throughout the week, you can tune into Troy Trojan Vision News at 5, 6:30, and 10:30 Monday through Friday, or anytime by following us on Twitter at Troy TV News. Also, feel free to like our Troy Trojan Vision News fan page on Facebook to see links to online content from Troy Trojan Vision News. This is our last Troy Trojan Vision Weekly of the fall semester. However, feel free to join us in mid-December for our fall semester in review, where we'll look back at all the big events of the fall semester. Until then, have a good week.